This is the dawn of a new civilization, of a flow state age that we haven't yet discovered yet. Let's discover it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today, Flow Jedis, we're talking about how we can tap into the state of superconsciousness. Now, a lot of people, they believe that superconsciousness is an unreachable state. They think that it's a state of mind that is inaccessible, in a sense, where they see superconsciousness as something separate from them. It's almost like, oh, it's up here, it's super, it's above, it's transcending, right? It's meta. However, I think it's a internal consciousness that we all have access to. We just have to find that link, that connection through these ecstatic peak experience states that get us a clearer glimpse of that reality. So once you tap into the superconscious state, you're tapping into an infinite intelligence. And sometimes you'll be like, whoa, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just getting out of the way and becoming a conduit and a container so that the superconsciousness can come in. Now, a lot of people might describe this as the Tao or God or the divine order of things or harmony or nature or consciousness. Whatever words you want to give it, it remains the same. It's that feeling of you've given up a sense of trying to control this maze in your own way and given direction to a higher power source that doesn't need to ever think about burning themselves out or energy. You see, the great thing about superconsciousness is it has an infinite supply of energy that is at our access whenever we decide to tap in. So the thing is, are you deciding to tap in, or are you merely claiming to tap in? You might want to tap in to show your friends that you're cool, to be validated that you're tapping in, but are you actually tapping in and feeling the moment and feeling the presence, feeling the breath and the embodiment, and being so subtle to notice the subtle body? You see, you have to be subtle to notice the subtle body, the energy body, the aura. If you really understand that your superconsciousness is a part of you, it's not separate from you, you're never going to run out of energy. God or source or the universe, whatever you want to call it, is the source of infinite energy, infinite abundance. Anything is possible. And through your imagination, you can go everywhere, as Terence McKenna says. Once you truly start to understand the paradox of all of this, and this is what Janus teaches me through the duality of this physical plane, the contrast is actually important into getting us into a triad in our own minds where we are the observer of that duality. That is one of the most important lessons that I received from Janus, which is to constantly come back to the center point of your reality. To be centered means being causing to exist, being the choice point. And from that choice point, you can decide. From being the observer, you have a blank slate now. Once you've emptied the cup, now you can fill the cup into what you prefer, rather than what has been entraining you and being poured into you by others. What are others pouring into your cup that might be blocking your superconsciousness? Now, some people have access to the superconscious states, and just simply being in their presence, you can access this frequency. Because everyone's plugged into some kind of a frequency, right? Everyone is plugged into what their frequency is, and whatever they're feeling, whatever you're feeling right now is your state, is your vibe. It's what it is. It's not what you're showing on the outside world, the persona or the mask. It's what are you actually feeling? What's going through your mind, heart, body, and that's being run by the thoughts. So if you have these dark thought experiments and you think what will happen to humanity, and you get into this fear-based state, you're going to start to constrict your own power. Notice this. Try and say a sentence in your own mind, an affirmation in your own mind, and see whether it constricts you or it expands you. Very important to do this so that you know what you resonate with. When you see a picture of something that you wish to attain, do you feel a constriction or an expansion? How will you know? Does your body kind of want to shut down? Or does it feel like it wants to stand upright and open and receptive and allowing? It's this feeling of your heart almost opening up like a flower. If you can access that state of your heart opening up like a flower, you can access that superconsciousness very easily. It's just a lot of us put a lot of barriers in between source. Okay? We have all of these rituals that we want to do to devote ourselves to this state, this actualization, right? I know that in a lot of schools of practice, in lots of religions, there's lots and lots of steps, right? Like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. And it keeps going, and it's adding a lot of steps and procedures and methods. But the feelings override all of that. You see, what you're feeling internally makes you skip a bunch of steps. If you're feeling bad, you're not going to pay attention to the step. That's your rational mind coming into the picture, trying to protect everything and comfort you and make you feel safe and all of these things. However, are you actually feeling safe in your beingness? The fact that you're here right now, does that make sense to you? Or is that just a mirage? Are you meant to achieve moksha in this lifetime? Are you here to be a bodhisattva, flow state Jedi, here to awaken others in their own true gift? Because if you are, you will know. You'll just know. There's no doubt, there's no uncertainty. There's just a deep sense of knowingness. Once you access this deep sense of knowingness, but you can't explain, it's an unspoken truth, it's just there. And maybe you see it in flashes and glimpses of images in your own mind, and maybe it's a sound, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a just that. Because it doesn't speak to you very logically, does it? Superconsciousness or God doesn't speak to you very logically. No. Some people have reported seeing and hearing him speak or her speak, whatever it is, this energy speak. Now, is this God, or is this our translation of God through our mere mortal units? These vehicles we've been given, the behaviors that you take each day are going to be slowly chipping and carving your character. Character, the word itself, meaning to carve. So it's slowly carving the character. How you respond to events is carving your character. How you respond to challenges is carving your character. So how seriously are you taking your character transformation? That's another question, because a lot of people, they come into this self-development field and they're like, it's gonna be fun, it's like being in a play, it's like being in a school play, and I'm like gonna play this new character now. No. This is a lifestyle. Theater is life. This is a play, that's correct. And it is fun. It's definitely fun. This is an identity level change too. So it's not always gonna be fun, okay? It is fun. And the benefits and the repetition that you put in now will bring the fun. Because once you hardwire that identity, that role, that version of you that you truly prefer, you'll start to feel it much more. It won't be as forced. In the beginning, it does feel forced. It feels like you're pushing it a little bit. There is that awkward period when you get a haircut. Well, there's that awkward period, like in between cutting the hair. It's like this weird medium length or whatever, and they haven't fully done the haircut yet, and you kind of look at it and you're like, this is kind of weird, right? But then after they're done, it just looks fine, right? So I want to use that analogy to describe the spiritual and creative process, where at first when you start out, it's like this little bit of resistance, but whatever we resist will persist. Remember this. So you've got to always come back to understanding the path of least resistance. What are you drawn to do? Not from your conditioning, not from your programming, but what does your heart and your soul want? And how are you communicating with the world? If you were a man in this world and you'd like the company of a beautiful woman in your life, you need to speak to her genetics. You need to speak to and free her soul from the captivity of this world. In this physical plane, she's worried about her looks. She's vain. She's insecure. She's unsafe. She feels unsafe. The moment she steps out of the door, she feels unsafe. You've got to know this as a man. And as a woman, you've got to know that that man wants to comfort and protect you, perhaps. At the same time, he's pretty clueless and doesn't really know you. And so you got to give him that space to actually be a leader, to be a man, to step into that role, right? We need to give each other permission to step into each other's roles. When we sense this majestic power in each human being, you start to see the overlap. You start to see the superconsciousness in people. Can you see the superconsciousness in people? Can you see this genius quality that certain people have? And you're like, how are they doing it? How are these people doing it? How are they staying up all night to finish the project? Or how are they getting all of this energy, this spiritual strength of a mother's care and protection, where she lifts something up or she punches through the wall? How does she get that extra survival strength in the moment where the world seems to be going against them, but then one friend comes along and listens to you? What are these miraculous moments that happen? We can't really explain it through words. We can only feel through them and experience them. So experience being the teacher, experience being the best measure of truth, as I posted today. Effectiveness being the best measure of truth, as we know, is the way. God being the survival platform that allows us to express ourselves through this human experience. I'm not saying you have to take the choice to live on some kind of moral high ground and pretend like you're some kind of a soldier saving the planet from what's happening to the planet right now. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm saying that if you choose to step into that role right now, that's what the world needs. Be selfish, but for your cause. Don't just be selfish for yourself. Be selfish for a movement, a community, an organization. Be selfish for your tribe, because a lot of people, they have a negative ideation with this word selfish. I think it's important to be selfish, but understand that the character serves the collective. Your character serves the collective, my friend. If you come along on this journey as a rebel, somebody who stands out, someone who's not here to fit in and just do what everybody's done, but to be that little spark, that little node that's a little bit different from others, that you seem to be tapped in to this God frequency. You feel that moment where your heart opens up a little bit and you're on your 5th rep at the gym. Did you feel that? Did you feel that moment where the breeze is just blowing through your hair and you feel a little bit of expansion in your aura, but you can't really explain it? Do you feel that moment of discipline during the peak performance where you decide that you're going to give it a little bit more, even though you logically know that you can't, but through the mentality you can override it? That's superconsciousness. You know that moment where you pause and you just look at someone and you feel that deep connection of oneness with them, as if you know their entire life story, but this is a complete stranger who you're looking at? That's superconsciousness. You know that moment where you speak to someone and the dialogue sounds like poetry and all the pauses just have the perfect melody to it, and every time you guys speak you never interrupt each other, but you finish each other's sentences, and the words just magically line up and the topics just come to you and the chemistry is on? That's superconsciousness. So what are the barriers to superconsciousness? What's holding you back? Doubt, mainly self-doubt, but doubt in the creator. Doubt that there is no higher order to things. This is all just randomness. This is all just existential bullshit, right? We're just kind of here and we're just getting by. I'm just gonna be dirt on the ground one day. And that's the dark truth of it, man, and I'm okay with it. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I'll give you that much. That's one way of looking at it. But is that the most effective way of looking at it? And maybe that way that you just described right now isn't getting you the results that you want. It's just not optimal. I can choose to believe in reptilians or lizard people, but is it effective to my reality, really? You gotta ask yourself these questions, man. Really, you do. Because is your life serving some greater purpose? Maybe, maybe not. But what if you designed it in such a way that it was harmonious, that the divine order played like a violin concerto with your vibe? This is what I'm talking about, and this is the power that we all have access to. Maybe you've tasted this power, maybe you've experienced this power, I'm not very sure. But once you join the Flow Zone Academy, Homo Sapien program, you'll get a sense of what superconsciousness really is. Because we're gonna open up all of your chakras to the crown. And once you access that, you'll notice your body feeling more light. You're more aligned. You're more on point. You're sharper. You're a little bit more in ease and relaxation and not pushing so hard. And actually, through that relaxation and the non-resistance and the effortlessness, you'll notice you start to manifest super fast. Things that you've wanted, collaborations and opportunities, and different things that just luckily, you think it's luck, come together. What is this? We've just tapped into superconsciousness, my friends. Your most powerful source of energy, your most guided friend, and the most true you have access to. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. And stay legendary today. May we never be the same again. Upward Spiral Gang.